Somewhere right now, someone is turning a drainage pipe into a house. Not a shed, not a container, an actual concrete pipe, the kind buried under roads to carry stormwater, cut open, insulated, and fitted with a bed, a kitchen, and a bathroom. And it's not a joke. It's not a one-off stunt for the internet. This idea already solved a housing crisis in one of the most expensive cities on Earth. Millions of people are watching these builds right now. Today, we're breaking down where this actually started, why it's exploding again, and whether you could really live in one. If tiny, unconventional builds are your thing, hit subscribe. We break down the weirdest, smartest small homes out there, every week, right here, on Affordable Tiny Living. Now let's get into the pipe. Before this was a TikTok trend, it was a real housing crisis solution. Back in Hong Kong, one of the most expensive real estate markets on Earth, architect James Law was standing on a construction site next to a stack of concrete water pipes. He walked into one of them and was surprised by how big it actually felt inside. That moment turned into the OPod Tube House, a project that takes 2.5-meter wide concrete water pipes and turns them into roughly 100 square foot homes. Each finished tube runs about 16 feet long, with a 7-foot diameter on the inside, and comes equipped with a small bathroom, a tiny kitchen, shelving, and a couch that folds out into a bed. Doors unlock with a smartphone, and the whole thing was designed to be stackable. Law suggested the tubes could be piled up to 4 high without needing any extra support structure. From the outside, it still reads exactly like what it is. A raw concrete cylinder, gray, industrial, with a single round door cut into one end that doubles as a window. No disguise, no cladding. That honesty about the material is part of the appeal. Look closer, and you'll notice the seams, the faint ring lines where the pipe segments were cast, still visible under the paint or coating. Some builders leave those seams completely exposed, almost like the growth rings on a tree stump, proof of exactly what this thing used to be. Others sand and fill them smooth, so the tube reads as one continuous shell. The round door is doing more work than it looks like. Cut into a curved wall, a standard rectangular door would leave awkward gaps at the top corners, so most builds use a circular or arched opening that follows the curve of the pipe itself, which is part of why the whole structure reads more like a porthole on a ship than an entrance to a house. A slim brass or matte black handle, a peephole, sometimes a small keypad or smartphone lock, flush with the surface, and that's it. Nothing else interrupts the cylinder. Sitting on its foundation, the tube is usually elevated slightly on a slab or short footing, which keeps it a few inches off grade and away from standing water. A small detail, but it's the difference between converted pipe and pipe someone forgot in a field. Some installations add a short timber or gravel apron around the base, both for drainage, and so the transition from raw concrete to landscaping doesn't feel abrupt. And then there's the shadow the shape throws. A cylinder catches light completely differently than a boxy structure. No flat wall ever gets fully lit or fully dark. It's all gradient, which is part of why these things photograph so well at golden hour. The internet didn't just fall for the concept, it fell for how well a tube catches light. Step through that door, and the inside tells a completely different story. Whitewashed curved walls, warm lighting, built-in shelving following the curve of the tube, and just enough floor space for a fold-out bed and a compact kitchenette. The first thing you notice is how the curve changes your sense of the room. There are no hard corners anywhere, which sounds small until you're standing in one. The walls sort of wrap around you instead of boxing you in, and it tricks the eye into reading the space as bigger than 100 square feet. Designers lean into this instead of fighting it. Shelving, cabinetry, and even the headboard are usually built to hug the curve rather than sit flush against a flat panel, since anything rectangular pushed against a round wall just wastes floor space in the gap behind it. Lighting does a lot of the emotional heavy lifting. Most builds avoid a single central fixture, since one bright bulb in a curved white tube creates a harsh tunnel effect. Instead, you'll usually see warm LED strip lighting run along the base of the shelving or up in the curve of the ceiling, washing the walls in indirect light, the same trick used in yachts and camper vans, where every inch of interior volume has to earn its keep. The kitchenette is compact by necessity. A single run of counter, a 2-burner induction cooktop, a small under-counter fridge, and open shelving instead of overhead cabinets, since a hanging cabinet in a curved ceiling either has to be custom-built or it eats headroom fast. The bathroom, usually tucked into one rounded end, is closer to a ship's head than a residential bathroom. A wet room layout, where the shower, sink, and toilet share one waterproofed pocket, because framing out a separate stall inside a 7-foot diameter tube just doesn't leave enough usable room otherwise. And the bed is the one piece of furniture every version treats differently. Some fold down from the wall like a Murphy bed. Some are built as a fixed platform with storage underneath. And the original OPod uses a couch that converts into a sleeping surface. Because in a footprint this small, no piece of furniture gets to have just one job. Here's where we get practical, because there's a real difference between the viral clip and what it takes to actually live in one of these. The core material is precast reinforced concrete pipe, the same stuff used for storm drains and culverts. A 12-inch reinforced concrete pipe weighs around 119 pounds per linear foot, and pricing scales fast from there. Common culvert sizes run 12, 24, and 36 inches in diameter, with prices ranging anywhere from $100 to $1,000 per linear foot, depending on the concrete strength and wall thickness you need. For anything you'd actually live in, you need something closer to the OPod scale. A diameter of at least 7 or 8 feet. That's a specialty precast order, not a standard culvert off a supply yard shelf. And pricing at that diameter climbs well past what a small drainage pipe costs. Foundation work is non-negotiable. A concrete tube needs a proper footing or slab to sit on, so it doesn't roll or settle unevenly. This isn't a drop-it-on-dirt situation, especially once you cut door and window openings into the shell. Insulation is the part most viral videos skip completely. Bare concrete is a thermal nightmare. It holds cold in winter and heat in summer. One writer who spent a night in the actual OPod prototype described it as cozy but noisy and chilly in the middle of winter. Rigid foam board against the interior wall, followed by a moisture barrier and interior finish, is what separates a livable pipe home from a very photogenic concrete tube you can't survive a season in. Cutting openings for doors and windows means core drilling through steel-reinforced concrete. This is not a DIY with a circular saw situation. You need equipment rated for reinforced concrete, and you need to know where the rebar runs before you cut, or you compromise the structural integrity of the whole tube. Exterior treatment is its own decision. Some builders leave the concrete bare and let the raw industrial look be the aesthetic. Others seal it with a weatherproof coating and add a small awning or wood slat overhang above the entry to break up the cylinder shape and shed rain away from the door. Interior finish out is where the actual living space gets built. Service walls installed flat against the curve to create usable corners, a kitchenette along one wall, a compact wet room-style bathroom at one end, and a sleeping platform or fold-down bed opposite it. The curve of the tube means furniture almost always needs to be custom-built or built-in, rather than off-the-shelf, since standard rectangular furniture wastes a surprising amount of usable floor space against a round wall. This is the section every viral video conveniently leaves out. In most places, a concrete pipe repurposed as a dwelling doesn't fall into any standard residential building code category. That means you're not filling out a normal permit application. You're often negotiating with your local building department about what this structure even legally is. Some jurisdictions will treat it as an accessory structure. Others may require full engineering review as a novel construction type, which means stamped structural drawings from a licensed engineer before anyone approves plumbing or electrical hookups. Even the original OPod, remember, is still officially described as an experimental prototype, not a fully code-approved permanent residence in Hong Kong. That distinction matters. Cool prototype and legally occupiable home are two very different regulatory categories, and a lot of the viral content blurs that line completely. Before you get emotionally invested in this build, call your local zoning office and ask directly, does a repurposed concrete structure qualify as a dwelling unit here, and what's required to get it approved? That one phone call will save you from building something you can't legally live in. Here's exactly what it takes to build one. Broken down item by item. Concrete pipe, small diameter, 12 to 36 inches, $100 to $1,000 per linear foot. Concrete pipe, livable scale, 7 to 8 feet in diameter. Custom precast order, priced well above standard rates, the single largest material cost in the build. Fully finished OPod-style tube home, built by a professional firm, approximately $15,000 total, not including land. Foundation and footing, $2,000 to $8,000, depending on soil conditions and local code. Core drilling for doors and windows, $500 to $2,000 per opening, depending on wall thickness and equipment rental or contractor rates. Rigid foam insulation and moisture barrier, $1,500 to $4,000, depending on tube size and finish quality. Interior finish out, flooring, built-in cabinetry, kitchenette, bathroom fixtures, $5,000 to $15,000. Electrical rough-in and fixtures, $2,000 to $5,000. Plumbing rough-in and fixtures, $3,000 to $6,000. Exterior weatherproof coating and entry awning, $500 to $2,000. Permitting and engineering review, $1,000 to $5,000 plus. Highly variable since most jurisdictions treat this as a non-standard structure, requiring stamped engineering drawings. Land or site prep, not included above, and often the largest true cost of the entire project. Total realistic range for a fully livable, code-considered build, $20,000 to $50,000, not counting land, well above the headline $15,000 figure once insulation, finish out, and permitting are factored in. So is a culvert pipe home a genius affordable housing solution, or just a viral gimmick? Both, honestly. As a concept, it's brilliant. The OPod was engineered to be built cheap and rented out affordably, and it genuinely tackles a real housing gap in ultra-expensive cities. As a DIY weekend project you saw on your phone, it's a lot harder than the 30-second clip makes it look. Between the insulation problem, the core drilling, the foundation work, and the permitting maze, this sits closer to a specialized micro-architecture project than a beginner DIY build. If you love the idea, the smartest move is treating it like any other unconventional build. Start with your local zoning office, get real engineering input before you touch concrete, and go in knowing the viral version and the livable version are not the same project. That's the real story behind the pipe homes taking over your feed. Not just an internet gimmick, but a legitimate housing idea born out of one of the tightest real estate markets on the planet. It works. It's just a lot more engineering and a lot less weekend project than the viral clips let on. If this gave you a clearer picture of what's actually behind the trend, subscribe to Affordable Tiny Living. We're breaking down the real cost and construction truth behind every viral tiny home trend out there. See you in the next one.